1. Official report. Honoka. DOATEC Confidential. Name, Honoka. Age, 18. Occupation, student. Nationality, Japan. Participant in the 5th Dead or Alive tournament. Report details. During the second match of the 5th block of the Asian qualifiers, the subject released a powerful burst of unexplainable energy from her right hand during her match against Thomas Blake. The energy burst knocked her opponent over, causing the subject to lose her footing at the same time and interrupting the match. Both combatants suffered only minor injuries, but the subject was consequently disqualified from the tournament. It was confirmed that the subject has no memory of the incident in question. 2. Project Epsilon. DOATEC's Next Generation Regenerative Medicine Development Project. In reality, however, it served as a means to conduct experiments on Hayate, in contribution to the project aiming to create a perfect superhuman weapon led by Victor Donovan. The head researcher on the project was Lisa Hamilton. The experiment ended in failure, and Hayate went missing during transport following an accident at the research facility. Hayate was later discovered in the Black Forest by Hitomi. He suffered from amnesia and devoted himself to the pursuit of martial arts until he could regain his lost memories. 3. Epsilon Curse, following the experiments conducted on him by M.I.S.T. As part of Project Epsilon, a control device remains implanted in Hayate's body. Lisa Hamilton disabled this device, known as the Epsilon Curse, during the battle to destroy DOATEC, led by Hayate. However, Donovan later placed its activation program under the control of Rig, now also known as Donovan Jr. 4. DOATEC Oil Platform Explosion. Immediately after the conclusion of the 5th Dead or Alive tournament, the oil platform that was used as the venue for the tournament had exploded in a ball of flame. All participants, spectators, and platform workers were evacuated via the Freedom Survivor, with no casualties. The platform supervisor, Rig, and one of the workers, Bass, proactively coordinated the evacuation efforts and saved many lives. The platform was destroyed, after which it was decommissioned on the orders from Helena, CEO of DOATEC. This incident has been consistently reported as an accident of unknown cause. 5. Attack on Hayate. Mugen Tenshin Ninjutsu continues to pass down the highest quality techniques of martial arts that have been honed over centuries through pushing human beings to their very limits of skill and endurance, even in our modern age of information technology. Hayate, who was destined to become the 18th head of the clan, was the one to inherit the secret technique known as the Torn Sky Blast from his father, Shiden. Shiden received the technique instead of his older brother Raido, who was removed from the line of succession because of his evil deeds and was expelled from the clan. However, Raido also possessed a remarkable ability to immediately copy any move his opponents used against him. He wished to steal this move that was only passed among the leaders of the clan, and he attacked the village in order to force Hayate to use it against him. 6. Runaway Ninja. Hayate was defeated by Raido, and even though he managed to survive, he was no longer able to function as the leader of the clan. After much deliberation, Hayate's father, Shiden, decided that Hayate's sister, Kasumi, would be the one to take his place as the 18th head of the clan. Kasumi was subjected to Shiden's harsh daily training regimen with this purpose, but she was never told the truth of what had happened. One day, she learned the truth about her brother from her half-sister Ayane, after which she violated the shinobi code and left the village in secret in order to avenge her brother. 7. Tenjinmon and Hajinmon. Mugen Tenshin Ninjutsu clan includes 2 separate sects within itself. The Tenjinmon sect, led by Shiden, and the Hajinmon sect, led by Genra, are like 2 sides of the same coin. Since time immemorial, Hajinmon supported the legitimacy of the Tenjinmon sect from the shadows, with both sects governed by a strict code. When a ninja broke that code, it did not matter even if she was the future head of the clan, or that she had done it in order to seek revenge. The code allowed no exceptions. Thus, Genra had summoned Ayane, Raido's illegitimate child, and gave her an order. Runaways deserve no mercy. Capture is unnecessary. She is to be killed on sight. 8. Ayame. Ayame, the wife of Shiden and mother to his children, Hayate and Kasumi, is haunted by loathsome memories she desperately wishes to forget. The night when Raido had assaulted her. Yet, whenever she sees the face of her daughter, she had to give away to be raised by the Hajinmon sect. The terrible pain of those memories grips at her heart. One day, Ayane, a ninja raised by Genra, was summoned to the Tenjinmon village. The words she heard from the head of the clan there shook the young Ayane to her very soul. That was the day she learned that she was the accursed bastard child of the evil Raido. 9. The first Dead or Alive tournament. While forced to fight for her life against her pursuer and half-sister Ayane, Kasumi was also manipulated by a mysterious organization, DOATEC, into entering their fighting tournament, known as Dead or Alive. Little did she realize that would become her first step down the path toward a terrible destiny. There, on the stage behind the tournament organizer Fame Douglas giving his speech, stood none other than Raido, the man who had all but killed her brother. Why was he there? She soon learned that Raido had been hired as Fame Douglas's bodyguard and was also a seeded fighter in the tournament. 10. Assassination. I did it, brother. Kasumi had managed to defeat her nemesis Raido. However, another terrible incident had taken place during that very same first ever Dead or Alive tournament. DOATEC founder Fame Douglas was assassinated by an unidentified assailant aboard the Freedom Survivor, a ship that served as the very symbol of the company. The tournament was continued in order to hide the trust and avoid turmoil, and ended with Kasumi claiming victory. Just before the curtain could be drawn, however, a mysterious explosion occurred. 11. Fame Douglas's philosophy. Fame Douglas was a legendary entrepreneur who developed the corporate behemoth that is DOATEC Heavy Industries in just a single generation. His philosophy behind the establishment of the Dead or Alive tournament was to help bring about a brighter future by using a martial arts competition to showcase the vigorous spirits and the true strength of humans. This idealism should have also been shared by the corporate sector as the company philosophy of DOATEC as a whole, but he was betrayed by a mad scientist, Victor Donovan, and a single bullet ended all of his glorious dreams. 12. Victor Donovan's ambition. The managerial philosophy pursued by Fame Douglas was too idealistic and not an easy one to uphold in the face of the rapidly developing global economy. After all, the human world is a place where wars do not cease to exist, no matter how much people campaign for peace. In fact, using DOATEC's biotechnology on the bodies of the physically gifted tournament competitors held potential for the development of a special type of bioweapon that would allow its creators to grip the reins of power in the world. And that was exactly the direction Victor Donovan aimed to reconfigure the structure of the company in. 13. Maria's death. Fame had 6 known lovers: Goldie, Anne, Maria, Isabella, Miyako, and Anastasia. Only Helena, a daughter he had with Maria, was recognized as his legitimate heir. As such, however, she was the one to be dragged into the power struggle for the fate of the company. A shot was fired during Helena's stage performance, but her mother Maria put herself in the way of the bullet to trade her daughter's life for hers. Even though the assassination attempt failed, Christy, the one who was tasked with it, received no penalty for her mistake. 14. Interim CEO. The assassination of DOATEC's CEO was sensationalist news that captured the attention of the public for a long time. The media spun theories tirelessly, but the truth of what happened remained shrouded in mystery. In an attempt to bring some order and reassure the public, Fame's daughter, Helena Douglas, was appointed as acting CEO. Additionally, the second Dead or Alive tournament was announced at the very same press conference that unveiled her appointment. Victor Donovan, however, who still planned to seize total control of DOATEC, had already put the wheels in motion for his next plan. 15. Tengu of Destruction. A Tengu, known as Goyakumine Bankotsubo, had murdered the leader of his own race and broke the rules of his realm, descending into the human world. He was a creature of pure evil that had no real ambitions or ties to the human world. The appearance of this being guided solely by a desire to overcome all else in its path threw the second Dead or Alive tournament into a state of total mayhem. It was even rumored that the assassination of famed Douglas was the work of this Tengu. The ninja Ryu Hayabusa, realizing the threat Bankotsubo posed, was the one who resolved to slay him. To do so, he entered the tournament himself. 16. The second Dead or Alive tournament. Kasumi had disappeared after the accident during the first tournament, and Hayate, who was recuperating in the village, was kidnapped by an unknown assailant. With this, the Mugen Tenshin clan had lost both of its future leaders. The man pulling the strings behind the scenes was none other, Victor Donovan. His ambition, so evil that it had even attracted attention of Tengu, was leading the ninjas towards a tragic destiny. It was amidst all this that the second Dead or Alive tournament was commenced with great fanfare. 17. DOATEC Germany. Donovan's evil plan was to use biotechnology to create the ultimate bioweapon, which he could then use to gain ultimate control over the military and arms industry. The forefront of that development was situated in the research facilities of DOATEC Germany. Both Kasumi and Hayate were held there as test subjects of the Project Alpha and Project Epsilon, respectively. Ryu Hayabusa's assault on the facilities freed Kasumi and destroyed the laboratory in flames. Hayate was carried away by a helicopter that subsequently crashed, which led to Hayate going missing. 18. Project Omega. The leader of the Hajinmon sect of the Mugen Tenshin clan was a man known as Genra. In truth, however, Genra was already under the control of DOATEC, or more specifically, Donovan. Genra was the subject of Project Omega, Donovan's third superhuman development project. While its details remained shrouded in mystery, it was clear that in addition to the development of a bioweapon with superhuman strength, it also involved the control of this weapon by a third party, as seen in Genra's mysterious control over Ayane and Genra's own manipulation at the hands of Donovan. The progress made in this evil scheme was evident. 19. The Black Forest. The helicopter that carried Hayate crashed into the vast woodland of the Black Forest, where the research facilities were hidden. Miraculously surviving the crash, Hayate had, however, lost his memory and wandered aimlessly through the forest. He eventually was found by a karate student, Hitomi, in the midst of her own secret training regime. Having encountered this mysterious stranger in the woods, Hitomi took him to her own home, her father's karate dojo. Once the man recovered his strength, they trained in the art of karate together. This mysterious man, who demonstrated a remarkable affinity for martial arts, was dubbed Ain. 20. Helena's imprisonment. Although beset by mayhem on all sides, the second Dead or Alive tournament concluded without a major incident. However, within the DOATEC organization itself, criticism of Helena as CEO abounded under the instigation of Donovan's supporters. Using this skillful manipulation of company opinion to his advantage, Donovan eventually managed to place Helena under his control. Appointing his assistant Christy to be her guard, he placed her under close supervision. However, with Ryu Hayabusa's activities becoming more prominent, Donovan decided to use Helena as a front to hide the truth and promulgate corporate propaganda, ordering her to participate in the third Dead or Alive tournament. 21. The third Dead or Alive tournament. Ryu Hayabusa did remarkable work in exposing the truth behind DOATEC. The descent of the Tengu, Genra's turn to evil, and the multiple superhuman development plans. Thanks to this, the situation seemed to be coming under control. Unfortunately, however, it turned out that they had only exposed the tip of the iceberg. Having realized that DOATEC had infiltrated his people and having regained the memories he lost through Project Epsilon, Hayate set off on a quest to defeat his own clansmen, who had been rendered a puppet of the enemy. Ryu Hayabusa encouraged Hayate to enter the third tournament and to prepare for the battle against Genra that would surely await. 22. Clones. While Hayate and the others trained, Kasumi decided not to return to the village and wandered the wilderness as a traitor to her people. Even though it was to avenge her fallen brother, she had broken the code that governed them. She could never return. However, that was not the only reason she had to remain on the run. Project Alpha, the plan carried out by DOATEC Germany to create a powered-up clone version of Kasumi, had been successful, and a clone known as Kasumi Alpha was out there. For Kasumi, this was a nightmare that she had to end with her own hands. 23. Helena's return to power. Genra, who had been reduced to a mere puppet, had been successfully slain. A single tear ran down the cheek of Ayane, who had been forced to bury the man who had raised her. Swearing that he would not allow them to have their way with his village any longer, Hayate vowed to destroy DOATEC as head of the Mugen Tenshin clan. At the same time, those opposed to Donovan's regime began to hold sway within DOATEC. Helena was freed and resumed control over the company. Forced onto the back foot, Donovan and his allies continued their plan in secret, advancing Project Alpha to its next phase via the development of Alpha 152. 24. Appointment of the new CEO. Although she had assumed the position of the CEO of DOATEC, Helena remained highly conflicted. If she allowed Donovan to develop his Project Alpha, it could pose a threat not only to the future of the company, but to the future of all mankind. But if she used force to settle the issue, DOATEC, the company her father had built, would go down in history as an enemy of the people. Helena embarked upon a dangerous gamble. She decided to use the desire for vengeance burning in the hearts of Hayate and the other ninjas, all of whom hated the company with passion, to destroy Donovan's plan and disguise it as a terrorist attack. 25. Lisa Hamilton. There was a person who provided Helena with unexpected assistance in her dangerous gambit. In fact, Lisa Hamilton was the one who had orchestrated the crash of the helicopter that transported Hayate. Hayate's miraculous survival was also due to Hamilton's ministrations. Furthermore, during the fourth Dead or Alive tournament, it was she who had leaked the information concerning Alpha 152 and the whereabouts of the lab to Hayate and the ninjas via the CIA. Her actions seemed to be motivated by her contempt towards Donovan. 26. The fourth Dead or Alive tournament. In this way, the script and the cast had been confirmed, and the stage was set for the action to begin. Helena Douglas proudly declared the fourth Dead or Alive tournament open and raised the curtain on this fateful event. The DOATEC Tri-Towers, company headquarters, and home to the tournament, gradually sunk into deeper and deeper chaos. With Alpha 152 about to wake for the first time down in the lab, the stage was reaching its climax. Helena had been waiting for this moment. As the flames licked higher, she reached for the key to a safety lock. 27. The collapse. The explosive device implanted within the towers was activated, and they began to collapse. Helena Douglas stood atop, waiting for the end of her life. It would all finally be over. Closing her eyes, she saw before her the images of her father, Fame, and her mother, Maria. Farewell, she thought. Yet, just as the flames were about to reach her, she was swept high into the air. Just in the nick of time, a helicopter had appeared, and Zack had whisked her away from the collapsing towers. 28. Regeneration on two fronts. 2 years after the collapse of the Tri-Towers, Helena devoted her every energy to rebuilding the DOATEC organization. Donovan's bioweapon projects had all been frozen and dismantled. It seemed that the organization had been purged of corruption at last. But in reality, Donovan had not been defeated and was continuing his activities covertly. M.I.S.T had been established as a new standalone organization carrying on the high-level biotechnology projects originally developed by DOATEC. Project Alpha, which had been developed using Kasumi's body, was moved to its next terrible phase by this new entity. 29. The 5th Dead or Alive Tournament. Phase 4 is the final phase of Project Alpha. With Kasumi's clone as the original base, a new bioweapon capable of mimicking the appearances and abilities of other ninjas was ready for action. As fate would have it, Helena's pronouncement of the opening of the 5th Dead or Alive tournament, meant to show the world DOATEC's glorious rebirth, would actually signal the arrival of mankind's greatest nightmare. 30. Darkness within DOATEC! This may be an opportune moment to revisit the various incidents that took place. It has already been stated that the assassination of founder Fame Douglas was planned and ordered by Donovan. It has also been stated that Fame Douglas had 6 different lovers at one time or another. It should not be ignored that a tangled web of jealousy and hatred existed between these women, and this led to certain incidents. A theory exists that the assassination of Douglas was actually a conspiracy between Donovan and Fame's second lover, Anne. 31. The fallout of the 5th tournament. The 5th Dead or Alive tournament, held under the auspices of the new DOATEC, ended in victory for Jan Lee. However, the oil platform where the tournament was held turned out to also be the location of the M.I.S.T lab. In addition, a range of other major problems were discovered, including the involvement of Fame's former lover and Kokorol's mother, Miyako, herself an executive board member of DOATEC, with M.I.S.T. The corporate restructuring which Helena had placed so much faith in was in danger of being rendered meaningless, and Donovan's evil had already enveloped Rig, the supervisor of the oil platform itself. 32. Torn Sky Blast. A ninjutsu technique of the Mugen Tenshin school, this secret move is passed down only among the heads of the Tenjinmon sect. The ultimate attack. It enables the user to turn even the most desperate situation to their advantage. Both Hayate, who fell victim to Raido's assault, and Kasumi, who was selected to be the next heir, trained hard in order to acquire this technique. In her battle against Raido during the first Dead or Alive tournament, Kasumi pitted her version of the Torn Sky Blast against Raido's and narrowly triumphed. After Hayate's recovery, he was allowed to use the technique as well, and demonstrated its effectiveness in training against Ryu Hayabusa and in the battle against Genra. The move is also sometimes referred to as Rekujin Pusatsu. 33. Tri-Towers. The headquarters of DOATEC, and an impressive symbol of the company's overwhelming power. The building consisted of 3 999-meter-high towers. The 4th Dead or Alive tournament was held atop an aerial helipad deck joining the 3 towers at their peaks. The deck also served a structural purpose for the building. The interior was decorated with marble, in a distinctly different design from ordinary office buildings. Alpha 152's cultivation lab was located in the basement, where the project was being brought to its final stage by Donovan's people. 34. Helena Douglas. A child born between Fame Douglas and Maria, a world-famous soprano. As has already been mentioned, Maria was one of Fame's many lovers, but only Helena was ever recognized as legitimate heir to the Douglas fortune. With her mother's artistic spirit running through her veins, Helena made a name for herself as a famous prima donna, while also mastering the Chinese martial art of Piguaquan. It was not hard to see that she was the very embodiment of her father's ideals. It was in this way that Helena's character was developed. 35. Opening statement of the 6th tournament. I hereby announce that we plan to stage the 6th Dead or Alive tournament. Abridged. As most of you will be aware, this tournament offers an opportunity for the world's greatest fighters from any and all disciplines to face each other in the ultimate fighting competition. Only those with the courage to constantly seek out others of remarkable skill, with the determination to pursue strength wherever it may take them, with the tenacity to withstand the harshest training, and who have grown into well-rounded human beings as a result, will be allowed to stand on this stage. 36. Fame Douglas's speech from the first tournament, Part 1. This tournament is known as the most prestigious combat tournament in the world, thrown open to competitors from across the globe to discover who is the strongest fighter on the planet. I also believe that this test of skill as the fighters pit their physical might against one another in the time-honored tradition of hand-to-hand combat provides us with an opportunity to re-examine the flaws in our current social system in which we rely too heavily on the continued development of science and technology. 36. Fame Douglas's speech from the first tournament, Part 2. It is true, of course, that mankind has learned much from the mistakes of its past and has used that knowledge to overcome many difficulties. Today, diligent research and human ingenuity has made the impossible possible, and we continue our quest to break free of historical constrictions and forge new frontiers for society, with a healthy, pioneering spirit. I see clear parallels between this spirit of inquiry for the future and the actions of martial artists who seek to build a healthy mind and body through an understanding of their own spirit forged by the harshest training regimens. 38. Statement upon appointment as CEO. As I am sure everyone is well aware, DOATEC Heavy Industries is a wide-reaching conglomerate with interests in many fields, operated based on the latest managerial and strategic philosophies. It is anything but the kind of company run by a single, charismatic leader. Therefore, I, Helena Douglas, hereby declare before you all that despite the death of my father, Fame Douglas, there will be no change or negative impact on the DOATEC's operations. 39. Freedom Survivor. A multi-purpose, supersized cruise liner designed and built by the shipbuilding sector of DOATEC Heavy Industries. Operated as a premier cruise ship bearing passengers to ports throughout the world, it also functions as a floating office building. While the ship's bridge has been constructed on the foretop platform, its main top platform features the CEO's command room. Primary specifications: length 450 meters, beam 70 meters, height 125 meters, full load displacement 335,000 tons, installed power DOA 5000 type gas turbine engine X6, 450,000 horsepower, speed 50 knots. 40. Nico. The time continued to flow since the disappearance of Nico's father, a famed biotechnology researcher. Wishing to follow in her father's footsteps, Nico enrolled at MIT. While there, she visited Brunei as part of an intercollegiate research program, where she had the opportunity to watch a Pencak Silat match. Finding herself attracted by its unique history and the fundamental philosophy of Ilmu Padi, Nico devoted herself to learning Silat while continuing her studies. One day, at a Silat practice match, Nico was approached with a proposition by an individual from a certain organization. 41. Ilmu Padi. Pencak Silat is a martial art from the nations of Southeast Asia, boasting over a millennium's worth of history and tradition. Its most fundamental philosophy is known as Ilmu Padi, the teachings of the rice field. Just as heads of the rice plants bow lower the more mature they grow, this martial art places great focus on personal growth through the virtues of gratitude and consideration for others, which are developed through training. 42. Zack Island. After claiming victory in the third tournament, Zack took his winnings to the casino and succeeded in acquiring a vast sum of money. He then used that cash to purchase an island in the tropical paradise which he named Zack Island. Constructing a major resort facility on the island, he then invited only female fighters to the island under the fraudulent premise of participation in the fourth DOA tournament. In fact, what actually took place there was a beach volleyball tournament, open only to bikini-clad beauties. Zack's fantasy had been brought to life. 43. Sacred Miyama. This place serves as a gateway connecting the heavenly and earthly realms. It is also a sacred ground for the members of the Mugen Tenshin clan, standing in the austere silence of the mountaintop behind their village. The holy tree dominating the place had long been revered by the ninjas as a divine presence overlooking and protecting their village at the foot of the mountain. A protective barrier was normally in place to prevent access, but Benkatsubo broke that barrier and descended to the human realm. There is a display recreating this location in the museum attached to the DOA Coliseum. 44. A Fable. Her appearance is that of a beautiful human woman. Thrice has she descended to the land of the rising sun. Her first visit was in the Heian era, when she descended on the 7th day of the seclusion of a high priest in a cave on a certain island. Her dance was seen as the appearance of an angel, and later spawned the custom of the Iwaya pilgrimage. Her second visit was when she appeared by the bedside of a young general known as the Fool, which was believed to be an auspicious dream. After this, he managed to annihilate the great army of the East when they attacked. And now, her third appearance. The ambition of the Northern King led to the dispatch of black ships to the great land to the west. Encountering a mighty storm, all seemed lost until an angel appeared and guided them to safety. In every case, her appearance was said to be accompanied by ringing laughter. 45. Character Introduction Number 1. Kasumi, the Kunoichi of Destiny. A successor of the traditional Tenjinmon style of the legendary Mugen Tenshin ninja clan. She is not fond of violence, but she carries an unmoving resolve in her heart. After her brother was attacked by Raido, she abandoned her clan and became a runaway ninja in order to avenge him, which resulted in her being hunted by her own sister Ayane. Now her mission is to find and destroy the clones DOATEC had created using her as the model. Even the most seasoned fighters have difficulty guarding against her elegant and varied attacks, executed at remarkable speed. 46. Character Introduction Number 2. Ryu Hayabusa, the ultimate ninja. A super ninja, master of the ancient Hayabusa-style ninjutsu. His strength has been recounted in numerous tales. As a longtime friend of Hayate, when the latter was attacked by Raido, and his sister Kasumi went missing, Ryu had to leave his peaceful life with his partner Irene and set out to help them. He was instrumental in solving numerous troubles that have occurred in the world of DOA. He is famous for his awesome Izuna drop, a powerful single-blow attack that can be performed even from strikes or holds. 47. Character Introduction Number 3. Tina, superstar of 1,000 dreams, the only daughter of a legendary professional wrestler, Bass. Despite her father's intentions to raise her as a champion wrestler, she used the ring as a stepping stone to pursue her own dreams in life, such as becoming a model, actress, and even a rock star. Now, her newest dream is to run for the post of the governor? What else will she come up with this time? An all-rounder, with a variety of powerful throws and strikes in her arsenal. 48. Character Introduction Number 4. Jan Lee, a scorching soul, master of Jakundo, nicknamed Dragon. He constantly seeks to test himself against the most fearsome opponents. He cares more about the level of skill than the level of fame, and keeps up his training even after taking the champion's title in the previous tournament. He joins dead or alive tournaments, seeking a true challenge that will make his blood boil once more. Possessing powerful knockback attacks, he is adept at taking advantage of walls and danger zones. 49. Character Introduction Number 5. Lei Fang, the Taiji Quan genius. Lei Fang is a true prodigy of Taiji Quan. Coming from an affluent family, she is a rather prideful young woman, and in the past, Jan Lee had hurt that pride by saving her from a group of thugs, prompting her to focus on her training more fiercely. Since that incident, Lei Fang has polished her Tai Chi skills and entered the DOA tournament multiple times, aiming to defeat that guy and prove her strength to him. Yet, perhaps her feelings towards him have begun to shift from simple competitiveness into something more. Her strength lies in Tai Chi holds that use her opponent's power against them, and powerful attacks from Sabaki and Inashi parries. 50. Character Introduction Number 6. Zack. The Funky DJ. Zack has incredible fighting instincts, and learned Muay Thai just by imitation. His original reason for competing in the Dead or Alive tournaments was to grab the hefty prize money. Positive in all things, this funky DJ has the uncanny knack of being able to pull off even the most outrageous outfits. But this time, is he showing a new, more mature side? His unorthodox style of Muay Thai is so unfettered and free of the restrictions of form that it makes his moves practically unreadable. 51. Character Introduction Number 7. Bayman. The man who overcame death. A man of few words, Bayman used to be a professional assassin who carried out his tasks with the utmost perfection. He first joined the DOA tournament because he was the one tasked with the assassination of famed Douglas. However, at the end of his mission, he was betrayed by his employer, who tried to murder him to tie the loose ends. The scar on his face became the seal of promise to carry out his revenge for this betrayal, and with the support of Helena as the head of DOATEC, he now hunts his former employer Donovan and his secret organization M.I.S.T to destroy them once and for all. Bayman is a hold specialist who uses combat sambo, a close-quarters fighting style of the Russian military. 52. Character Introduction Number 8. Bass. King of the Ring. An immensely strong former professional wrestler. He always worries about his and his late wife's only daughter, Tina, as she keeps chasing various dreams, trying herself out as a model, an actress, and even a rock star. Instead of keeping with the family legacy and focusing on becoming a world-class wrestler, Bass had moved to New York, bringing Rig with him, after the DOATEC plant they both worked on was destroyed. But what does he plan to do now? He overwhelms his opponents with his impressive raw power and versatile throwing techniques. A single blow of his can be enough to change the tide of any fight. 53. Character Introduction Number 9. Ayane. The killer Kunoichi. The brilliant Kunoichi of the Hajinmon sect, the shadow sect of the Mugen Tenshin clan. Ayane was cursed to live in shadows by the circumstances of her birth, and was raised by Genra, the leader of the Hajinmon sect. She was the one ordered to hunt down her half-sister Kasumi, who had deserted the clan. She is troubled by her feelings towards Kasumi, because she envied her for having everything Ayane couldn't have, and now despises her for betraying it all of her own free will. But deep inside, she also remembers how close they were in their childhood, and can't bring herself to truly hate her for the sake of their mother. Her ever-changing moves are polished to the extent where her opponents can never see what is coming. 54. Character Introduction Number 10. Helena. Fortune's heiress, the young CEO of the enormous DOATEC conglomerate. She is a daughter of the DOATEC founder, famed Douglas, and his lover, world-famous soprano, Maria. A young star prima donna of the opera world, and a master of the Chinese martial art known as Pigua Quan. Though the company was once involved in the development of terrifying biological weapons, Helena is seeking to start anew. Following in her father's steps in upholding the ideology of mens sana in corpore sano, she has announced the 6th Dead or Alive tournament. Helena excels at using the low bokuho stance to smoothly evade her opponent's attacks, before choosing the perfect moment to launch devastating counters. 55. Character Introduction Number 11. Hayate. The Wind of the Heavens. The 18th leader of the Mugen Tenshin clan, Kasumi's older brother, and a good friend and rival of Ryu Hayabusa. After suffering a defeat from Raido, he was made into an experiment subject in a DOATEC laboratory and had temporarily lost his memories. After being discovered by Hitomi, he became known as Ain and joined the second DOA tournament, where he was able to rediscover his own self. Hayate swore to repay DOATEC for everything that was done to him and his family. He is concerned about Kasumi and currently follows in the tracks of a tattooed man who he thinks will bring him closer to finding Donovan. 56. Character introduction, number 12, Hitomi. The Fist of Innocence. Hitomi is of mixed Japanese-German descent and had been trained in karate from a very young age. In the past, she had found and rescued Ain, who had lost his memories, and while they were learning karate in her father's dojo, she had begun to develop feelings for him. He, however, chose to leave her behind to rediscover his own past. Now, Hitomi continues her own training with her feelings towards him, still hidden close to her heart. A well-balanced fighter in terms of speed, power, and reach, she also uses moves that combine both offensive and defensive elements in one. 57. Character introduction, number 13, Brad Wong. The Drunken Fighter. A master of Zui Ba Shen Quan, he can usually be found with a drink in his hand. Aloof and never flustered, he loves women almost as much as he loves good liquor. He was spending his days training in the remote mountains of China until his master ordered him to go on a journey for a legendary mysterious liquor. He has entered the 3rd and 4th tournaments, but skipped the 5th, joining Elliot on his travels. His reasons for entering the tournament are unclear. He specializes in confusing his opponent by using a range of unpredictable attacks from such unusual stance as standing on one foot, standing on his head, facing backwards, and even laying down on the ground. 58. Character introduction number 14, Christy. Blood-soaked snake hands. A cold-blooded assassin and a master of the art of Shiquan, Snake Fist. Former associate and a rival of Bayman. She was placed in charge of arranging the assassination of famed Douglas by Victor Donovan, and also monitored Helena's movements for him under the guise of working as her attendant. Currently, she works for M.I.S.T as Donovan's loyal servant, and her true relation to Rig is still covered in mystery. Like a snake, she approaches the enemy while dodging attacks, then, faster than the eye can see, brings them down with a single deadly blow. 59. Character introduction, number 15, Elliot. Apprentice of the Iron Fist. Genfu's only apprentice and practitioner of Xing Yi Quan. Elliot is an orphan, and he remains uncertain of why his master chose him to be his one and only disciple. It is in search of an answer to this that he has decided to enter the 4th tournament. In order to hone his skills, he has left his master's side and set off on a journey of self-discovery, where, for some reason, he soon found himself accompanied by Brad Wong. Eventually, his training paid off, and he was able to learn the legendary Jinyi Liu Hequan, entering the 6th DOA tournament as a truly first-rate martial artist. He charges forth, unleashing a furious volley of consecutive attacks, mixing together both Xing Yi Quan and Xinyi Liu Hequan styles. 60. Character introduction number 16, Kokoro. The Baji Dancer. A young woman training to become a Maiko, and in the art of Baji Quan in Kyoto, she has matured and improved her skills with every DOA tournament. Cheerful and positive, she has developed a lithe and graceful fighting style combining both hard and soft elements, representing the spirit she has refined through her Maiko training. But what goes through her heart now as her mother Miyako, the 5th lover of DOATEC founder famed Douglas, has decided to defect to M.I.S.T, leaving Kokoro behind? She has very powerful mid-range attacks, using elbow and palm thrusts, and specializes in throw moves aimed to destroy her opponent's stance. 61. Character introduction number 17, La Mariposa, Lisa. The Immortal Butterfly. Tina's rival from her professional wrestling days, a luchadora proficient in a range of spectacular and acrobatic attacks. Beneath her mask, however, she is the DOATEC's researcher Lisa Hamilton, the head of the project Epsilon, which was used to conduct experiments on Hayate. During the 5th tournament, she was caught in the explosion following the deadly battle between Rig and Hayate, and it was rumored that La Mariposa had retired. 62. Character introduction, number 18, Rig. The Kicks of Truth and Deceit, Rig used to work as the supervisor and chief engineer on the oil platform owned by DOATEC that was burned during the 5th tournament. He had lived on that platform since he was a child. And after the accident, not knowing anything about his own origins and having nowhere else to go, he moved to New York to live with his friend. Thrown into this new life without the only work he knew, Rig was faced with too much free time and boredom he was not used to. He is a master of Taekwondo, and his style keeps evolving, becoming more and more tricky and acrobatic. 63. Character Introduction. Number 19. Mila. The hot-blooded champ. A young up-and-coming mixed martial arts champion who has scored spectacular victories all over the world. She is a devoted fan of Bass. Her admiration towards him is so intense that one of her biggest dreams is actually to meet him in the ring. She spends her days training at the gym in between shifts of her part-time jobs to make that dream come true. Her true charm lies in that earnestness and the tomboyish personality of hers. Mila is an aggressive MMA fighter who mixes quick, orthodox strikes with a strong follow-up ground game from her takedowns. 64. Character Introduction. Number 20. Marie Rose. Wicked Lil Servant. Marie Rose seems to be employed as Helena's maid, but her true character is shrouded in mystery. This time, she sets out on a training journey with Honoka as a part of a certain mission. But who is she really? And what secrets are hiding behind that devilish smile? Despite her cute and delicate appearance, she displays a total mastery of the Russian military martial art of Sistema. Sistema emphasizes constant fluidity of movement and allows Marie Rose to use her small frame to her advantage, turning the opponent's attacks against them, outmaneuvering them with a variety of tricky moves. 65. Character Introduction. Number 21. Nyotengu, Naughty Tengu Princess. Legends of the Nyotengu persist in mountainous regions of Japan. Part of the Black Tengu tribe, she is from a different group to Bankotsubo. Her beauty is famed throughout the land and has been spoken of for generations. She has descended to the human realm to appease her boredom. She was attracted by the rumors of one Ryu Hayabusa, the human who defeated Bankotsubo. Versed in Tengudo, she fights with powerful strikes that belie her graceful beauty and uses her wings to execute aerial attacks that defy the norms of human capabilities. 66. Character Introduction. Number 22. Honoka, super secret fighter chick. A sweet and easygoing kind of girl on one hand, and a true martial arts buff on the other. Honoka is a simple girl, raised by her gentle and loving grandmother. So what is her secret? That would be the mysterious power that allows her to copy perfectly the moves she has seen others perform, while allowed her to create her Honoka Fu style and compete on par with famous fighters. Seeing her own right hand emit some strange kind of glow has her justly worried. Honoka has created her own unique style, which she calls Honoka Fu, by combining her favorite moves copied from various fighters she observed. In her Hisatsu no Kamae stance, however, she is imbued with an unbelievable strength and becomes capable even of techniques she has never seen before. 67. Character Introduction. Number 23. Raido, the Regeneration of Brutality. Raido was believed to have been killed in the explosion during the first Dead or Alive tournament, but his body was secretly recovered and revived using DOATEC's biotechnology. However, he no longer has any mind of his own and has devolved into a madman who desires only strength and destruction. With Mugen Tenshin ninjutsu as a base, he uses his mimicry skills to copy various powerful moves of other styles as well. He favors a power-focused fighting style, making use of his colossal physique using both moves stolen from others and his own, such as the Tenho Goraisho and the Reku Jinrai Satsu. 68. Character Introduction. Number 24. Nico, the Lightning Techno Master. A genius scientist, introduced under the codename Nico. She is the one in whose hands Donovan has placed the newest M.I.S.T secret development project. Despite her youthful and innocent appearance, she provides a genuine threat to the ninjas with her sharp, analytical mind and her natural sense for martial arts. although it would seem that she also has her own reasons for undertaking this assignment. Nico is a practitioner of Pencak Silat, a historic martial art of Indonesia. She also employs her 3 EMF rings to boost her attacks and allow her to move with an ultra-high speed. 69. Character Introduction. Number 25. Diego. The uncrowned street hero. Diego grew up on the back streets of New York. He began fighting in street competitions to earn money and support his sick mother, and has continued to do so ever since. Being rumored to be the strongest fighter in his neighborhood, he is seen as a sort of hero by many children there. Though appears to be very distrusting and indifferent towards the world outside, perhaps. Diego's style is the raw and ruthless style of dark alleys. Everything goes in a street fight, whether it is hard punches, tackles, or headbutts. Many of his stronger moves are also based on his experience of fighting in confined quarters and next to walls. 70. Character Introduction Number 26. Genfu. The legendary Iron Fist. Despite his advanced age, he originally entered the DOA tournaments to earn money for medical treatment for his granddaughter, Mei Lin. Over the course of several tournaments, however, her condition has improved. There is also nothing left for him to teach his protege, the young loner Elliot. All that remains for him to do is hone his art just a little longer until he can see his first great-grandchild. Now all Genfu wants is to live out what remains of his life in peace. 71. Character Introduction Number 27. Bankotsubo. Goyakumine Bankotsubo is a being of true evil and the root of all misfortune. He refused to limit his misbehavior to the Tengu realm and broke the laws of his kind to descend into the human world. Joining forces with earthly evil, he decided to participate in the DOA tournament. Evil he may be, but a divine and regal presence he is nonetheless. Ryu Hayabusa swore his intention in respectful tones. It will be my honor to eradicate your evil from the face of this land. 72. Character Introduction Number 28. Genra. Puppet of Deception. Master of the Hajinmon sect of the Mugen Tenshin clan, devoted to serving the Tenjinmon sect from the shadows, and a foster father to Ayane. Despite being implicitly trusted by the clan's head, Shiden, Genra had gradually turned his back on the main sect of the clan. Perhaps the trigger was Raido's betrayal, or perhaps it was a result of the unknown stresses endured by one fated to live in the shadows. In his vulnerable state, he was then used by DOATEC for Project Omega. The final result of the project was that Genra was turned into a being of pure evil, a puppet under the total control of Donovan. 73. Character Introduction Number 29. Kasumi Alpha. Lost soul spawned by evil. First-generation clone born based on Kasumi's DNA, created as a part of Project Alpha, led by the Donovan group within DOATEC. While her combat ability is essentially identical to Kasumi's, the differences in the environments in which they were raised mean that she is slightly more open and carefree in character. I just really like you, Hayate. It would seem that Kasumi's deep feelings for her brother, Hayate, have been passed on to this conflicted soul as well. 74. Character Introduction. Number 30. Alpha 152. The ultimate hyperclone, a man-made life form in the shape of a woman with a semi-transparent body. Hyperclone number 152, made from Kasumi Alpha's DNA. After escaping during the 4th Dead or Alive tournament, she was isolated in an on-platform lab by M.I.S.T. before being slain by Kasumi Alpha, who tracked down her location. There is no way of knowing at the present time just what number clone that was. 75. Character Introduction. 31. Phase 4. The Tragic Weapon. Codename, Kasumi Alpha Phase 4. Phase 4 indicates the final clone weapon production phase of M.I.S.T's Project Alpha. This is the first prototype model of that phase, She has the capacity to replicate the abilities and attacks of all ninjas, but only within the laboratory. It is possible that she share the memories of the original Kasumi, making her a tragic figure. Designed and forced to perform as an unthinking weapon, while possessing the memories and spirit of a human being. 76. Character Introduction, number 32, Irene. Agent of Refined Grace. A CIA agent supporting Ryu Hayabusa. Her codename is Sea Swallow. It is believed that the CIA has been investigating the nature of the bioweapon development projects run by DOATEC and M.I.S.T. Her role, however, is purely to provide support to Ryu Hayabusa. Appears in DOA Dimensions. 77. Character Introduction number 33, Leon. Nomad Warrior. This man once had a woman whom he loved deeply, the proud young thief of the desert, Lauren, who died on its sands. "The man I love is the strongest man in the world," were her final words. In order to make these dying words of his lover the truth, he wanders the earth seeking out of mighty foes. He has still not found the end of his path,